71 Opel GT restoration done by Viny. This car has gone through a lot in the last 3.5 years. It's been completely refabricated from scratch. It had so much rust. Terrible shape. I did a lot of cutting and sandblasting. We stripped all the paint off it, stripped the bottom half of the car, the wheel wells, absolutely everything. And we started back from scratch, made all the panels. And when I say we, I mean me, myself, and I. I did have some help from my friends for some of the stripping on the inner side, but mainly it was all done by me. Let's see, how do we start here? First off, the whole car is painted with etching primer from plastic coat from one end to the other. All these headlight buckets were all cleaned out, painted. I made new brackets to hold all the mechanisms. There's a panel back here. These panels were in horrible shape. They're a little dusty right now. This is the panel I ended up taking out. It was finished. So I made all new panels from scratch. They've all been welded, seam sealed in, painted. The headlight mechanisms were in and gapped properly and rotated when the panel was welded. So I had the entire assembly in here. All the gaps were set. And then I welded a piece in the back plate here. So everything works good, and I knew it'll all pop in together as it should once we put the car back together. The entire bottom of the car has been painted with plastic coat. I'm sorry, not plastic coat, but DuPont bed liner. All this, everything, the whole bottom of the car. A lot of it is dusty, but it's all been done, all stripped down to the steel. Let's see, there's this belly pad here has been redone. It has a huge repair around this area. All new panels put in there, fix that up. As far as the rest of the car, there was tremendous rust around here. These are all new panels. In here, this is all new. This is all a new panel. There's floor sections that I hacked out here at the bottom. They've all been changed. This entire area. The bottom of the door was cut off 3 inches, and I had all new steel bent for it, re-welded, re-gapped the doors and whatnot. I can show you some of the rust. These were actually the bottom of the doors, and now it's all brand new steel. It's quite solid, seam sealed. Moving on, as you can see, I just did the transmission bay all cleaned up and repainted. I think it was in September. I did all the seam sealing in here. You see all these panels were made, all the insides. It looks pretty good, seam seal. Everything turned out pretty straight, amazingly. The doors. These rear rest sections here. See these nice lines. This entire area back here, this is all new. Both sides had to be redone. They didn't exist anymore. It was just a massive hole here. You could stick your fist right through the car. But there's about, I don't know how many panels it took to refinish it all up, but they're all been done. Both sides of the car had to be redone the same way. There was nothing left back here. See my seam seal, the area? This is all new seam sealing. All these have been stripped, all done. All these footings, everything's been cleaned up and repainted. It's just very dusty right now. This corner here didn't exist. All this has been refabbed. See some repairs. I got a little more seam sealing to do inside here. It turned out pretty good. It's really straight as far as how the bottom lines meet one end to the other of the car and how the door lines up. Like, there's a little bit of cleanup to do on the Bondo here. It's a little rough, but the door is very straight, and the rest of the body ended up very straight. I'm very happy with all my hard work. You can see here all this section. Quite clearly tell what I did in there. As far as the inside of the door, just give you an idea of my work. I have all new hinges in this thing. Well, no, they're used hinges, but they're tight, nice and good. The door gaps were all set. And this is a whole new steel bottom to this door. Like I said, the bottom 3 inches were hacked off. All this has been seam sealed. And after I welded it in, there's a little bit of finishing work left, as you can see here. But this, you can clearly see, this is all new. All this door, all the way down. It's all brand new. What was that? Moving on, these fenders were just rusted. This whole car was a Bondo fiberglass freaking nightmare, and everything was popping out after 30 years of all that shabby work. So all these sections were cut out and redone in this fender, re-welded, and then I did all the body work over it. The lines aren't right yet. I'm not that good at it, let's be honest. But at least it looks like something way better than Swiss cheese, like it used to look like. Back here, it was actually a huge repair. This car got hit by a fire truck at one time. And this entire rear panel, right from here to somewhere around here, was replaced, all this. When they did it, they actually did a pretty good job, except for all this area is 3/8 of an inch too low. So all this had to be refilled in with Bondo to get the size even again. They kind of fucked up when they did their measurements. The wheel well here didn't actually even line up. The panel they did not match the curvature of the arch in this area. So I didn't want to rip out the entire repair of the rear because they were solid. So I left it in and tried to compensate. There's a lot of work needed here to finish this off and make it look decent. But there is actually a huge repair back here from being hit from a fire truck. If you look on the inside, I don't know if you can see this, but you can clearly, oh no you can't. But as you can see, it was welded right here. All this side is all a new panel. That's the original in that corner. The inside of the car, you can see the floor, just before the floorboards I had to do some pretty big repairs. Everything's been seam sealed. I don't know how well you see this, but this is a huge section of repair here. Might look a little dark. As well as here, this is all redone. It's all new stuff. And solid now, the lines match. I think it's too dark to see it on the video. Moving on. This is, of course, the other side of the car. Yeah. Rotisseries are nice. This is the bottom half. I still have to do these suspension hookups and whatnot, and they still need to be cleaned off. For the most part, this has all been painted. It's all nice and solid and done. I don't have to deal with it anymore. Once again, you can see the huge section back here is all replaced, and how the lines end up. They are reasonably nice with the doors. The dust makes it look a little wavy, but it's not. It's actually quite straight. Moving on, I'd like to show you guys underneath the hood. I'll put down the camera for a second. So underneath the hood, there's still a lot of work to be done over here. I cleaned it all off, got all the grease out. I got to organize the wires a little bit, just tape all this stuff up. I want to do some more seam sealing, prime this area, get all this stuff prepped. I've got a few rust holes to still fix and seam seal and take care of. The entire inner nose area, you probably can't see this, has all been sandblasted, cleaned up, painted, primed, redone. It's absolutely clean in here. You can't really see it on the camera. We don't have enough light. But the entire nose area was all fucking sandblasted, and now it looks fantastic. I guess that's it for now. Gives you an idea of my project. And thank you very much for your time.